Hey everyone, how's it going? So, I would like to drop another video today, and this video is gonna be about computer science students or people who have computer science background, data structure, lead code, and all that stuff, versus someone who has not done that but is a good developer. So, two people. First one with computer science background, second one with a proper developer. One of the biggest differences I have seen between these two people now is this: with the people who have um, studied computer science, is that their whole life, whatever they've done, 2 3 4 years, all the code they have written, all the problems they have solved, whether it's with algorithm, understanding data structure, how to apply them together, all that stuff that they have done it in, like, really really in isolation. you know they don't have this stuff like, if I need to be really careful changing this variable name, because if I change this variable name somewhere along the line or something, this is just a stupid example, but if I change this little unit of code, something bad really is gonna happen elsewhere. They don't have this in mind, these computer science students. you know um, but with us developers who have experience building proper applications, we know for a fact that if you change anything, it is going to have tremendous effect. And not just tremendous effect, it's going to cause business a lot of issues. But computer science students don't have this thing. Now I'm about to say something really funny though, is that as developers, we do need to think like computer science students sometimes. You know, what we don't do, I think, on day to day basis, is we don't, whenever we're stuck in a problem like a proper issue, knowing it's a big issue and it's going to impact a lot of stuff and all that stuff, we don't ever try to isolate our code. Well, that means that if you have 100 lines of code and you don't know where the issue is, but you know that at least 50 60% of the lines there are there, but they probably won't make a major difference in when you're fixing this bug. So you can take a part of the code, literally paste it in a notepad, and just analyze it line by line. Now you're isolated. You have like you have better view of the code. You have better view of the important part of the core of that code, and you can look at, and you can, now that you isolate, you can look at and you can analyze, oh, if I did things this way, this way, would it work, would it not work? Computer science students, meanwhile, have this mindset when they're working on lead code problems and all that. We don't, as developers, because we're scared. We're like, okay, I can't change this, I can't change this, what if I change it, now we are just dealing with 100 problems instead of just the issue, because obviously the code is so big and it affects everything else. But what we should, I think we should try to do, is isolate the as much code as possible, put it in a sublime text, whatever, and try to visualize that, and then try to fix the issue there. Obviously you can't run that code, I understand that. um, you can run it with PHP Unity, but that's just simplifying it. I don't want to simplify it too much, because then it becomes impractical. But you put that code in a notepad, and then you analyze the code. You see, okay, what if I do this? What if I do this? And then ultimately, what will happen is that the code is so simplified, you might end up with even a better solution than you would have otherwise found out. You know, so try to isolate your code as much as possible. But a lot of the developers don't have that computer science background. They're just so used to complexity. They don't simplify, isolate anything. But I do think that, I mean, I personally do it. I try to isolate the code as much as I can. Once I isolate it, I look at it and I try to fix it there. Once I fix it there, then I can go to the original code base and try to implement the solution there. Then it's so much easier. At least the step one of finding the problem, or finding a solution, is sorted, and then you take your solution and you put it into the original code base and get that working. So I think that's an important thing. Um, Computer science students or developers who have computer science background seem to have this mentality a lot of the times, but people who have just got into development, skipping that step, they don't seem to have. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. It kind of works for me when I'm like, oh my god, there's so many files, so many pieces of information. How do I sort this? It's just like everything happening at once. It's like concurrency. It's like everything is happening at once, and then because things are happening as well, it's so hard to wrap your head around things when, like, when two events are firing at once. It's just so hard to deal with these sort of things. So try to isolate your code next time you work on something complicated, and I think it'll help you. Like, I think it will really help you.